The now US President Donald Trump, he went to the Bitcoin conference in Miami last year and gave a speech, and it was very clear that he hadn't understood the extraordinary significance between Bitcoin and the rest of crypto. And it was obvious because RFK Jr. stood up and made one of the best speeches I've ever seen, frankly. It was like, wow, this guy has really gone and done his homework. And just from my personal vantage point, it's like, this is the best politician I've ever seen. And it was so cool. And the reason I love what RFK Jr. talks about is it comes from this incredible backstory of willing to go out and litigate pharmaceutical companies and coal and oil companies. And it's just fascinating, his story. And the family he comes from, of course, has its own incredible history. The point is, there was a lot of people who are like, the US government is going to take Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Like, whoa, this is a big fucking deal. What does it mean? And there was two types of or two angles to this that were important to consider. One was they already control a bunch of Bitcoin, and they've impounded it from certain criminal cases they find themselves in. I don't have the specific numbers to hand right now, but there's talk of them basically, we just won't give it back, or we won't hand it out to the creditors. So okay, cool. Well, that's one angle. It's a shift in stance on what this thing Bitcoin is. The US government taking on their balance sheet. That is a big deal. Do not get me wrong. But a far bigger deal is another idea that I saw floated around, which was that they wanted to have 2 million Bitcoins or 1 million Bitcoins or something. They were going to do 200,000 Bitcoins a year over 5 years. So they were going to take supply off the market. And from a price action perspective, from someone that's looking at Bitcoin from an investment lens, that's massive. Huge, huge, huge consistent demand coming from one of the wealthiest governments in the world. Now, what's happened so far from what I have seen is the altcoin boys were like, well, hang on a second, what about us? And they've come in and really muddied the waters. And so there's a president that hasn't understood the fundamentals of Bitcoin itself, as was clear 6 months ago. And yes, it's already 6 months of improvement, but still not there, in my opinion. I'm sure RFK will be saying, come on, mate, like, you really want to get this Bitcoin stuff, not the rest of the crap that's been thrown around. And why is that? Well, it comes back to this like very first principles approach. Like, okay, well, what is Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin is money. Okay, well, what is money? Well, money is a natural byproduct of the free market, a technology that fundamentally fulfills three roles: store of value, unit of account, medium of exchange. Okay, well, what's the history of money? First, we used, small glass beads, and then we have tried all sorts of different things, right? Commodity monies like gold, silver, even grain, through to the modern day debt-denominated fiat currencies that many of us was born into. Just thought, British pounds, that was money. Well, how wrong I was. The words or the question, what is money, is a much, much deeper question, and effectively something that humans have been trial and erroring for a very, very long time. And Bitcoin is just the latest iteration of what we call money.